All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode. This time, what we are doing is reviewing book number 22 of Goosebumps called Ghost Beach, written by R.L Stine. I have my audiobook and my short form review out. So, this is now just a long form for anybody that kind of likes to participate in any sort of this activity, right? Ghost Beach follows the story of Terry and Jerry, who are siblings from New Jersey, and they're staying with their cousins, distant cousins, Agatha and Brad, for the summer. Terry and Jerry both kind of enjoy adventure. I noticed that they have fun. One likes to do rubbings on a gravestone. The other one kind of thinks a little logical. There's a little bit of character development in this book that I quite enjoyed. You could tell a lot by their character and some of the things that they enjoy doing that kind of develops them. The book is quite an interesting read, not too long as well. I definitely had a good time doing the voiceover for this one, more so than I did Legend of the Lost Legend, right? Essentially what we have is Terry and Jerry. They're on vacation for the summer. They're hanging out with Brad and Agatha, but I noticed that they're going to the beach a lot. And once they went to the beach, they have encountered three siblings: Sam, Nat, and Louisa. Sam's a little bit older. Louisa's the middle child, and Nat is the youngest one, right? So they're all three written very interesting. You could tell that Sam is the uh, Sam is the older one that talks a bit more. Louisa is finding her voice, and Nat is still too young to find his voice. Most of the story does wind up taking place either at the beach, in the cave, or at Agatha and Brad's house. So you pretty much have, over the course of days, you have the setting kind of within one, two, three places max. Oh, and there's a graveyard right soon after, right? So essentially, what happens is Terry and Jerry meet the three kids, Sam, Louisa, and Nat, and they tell them about a ghost that's in the cave. They have to almost be wary, be quite cautious when it comes to not encountering the ghost. And then one day they kind of get this plan of going to kill the ghost, encouraged by Sam, Nat, and Louisa. It's also very interesting throughout most of the book. It gets kind of the meat and potatoes of it all is definitely towards the end, but it moves fairly quick too. Essentially, they tell them about this ghost, and Terry and Jerry are quite worried, but they're also kind of excited at the idea of understanding who the ghost is or what's going on. They happen upon a graveyard that's all Sadlers. Terry and Jerry are last named, surname, if you will. They are the Sadlers, so uh, Agatha and Brad kind of explain it away as if, oh, the Sadlers came by here, and most of them are buried in this at this graveyard nearby the beach. Great plot, moves quite well. For spoilers for anybody that's interested, Sam, Louisa, and Nat are the ghosts, and they're the ones that died in the 1600s because they stumble upon their gravesite. It tries to get explained away that they're named after their ancestors, but you could pretty much see very early on, once we're introduced to the kids, kind of the things that they do make them kind of questionable. You could tell right away, at least with this book. Okay, Sam, Nat, and Louisa are indeed the ghosts somehow, and it's just about finding out. The twist at the end, there's two twists. You find out that the three kids are ghosts, but then also you find out that Brad and Agatha are also ghosts as well. And it ends on a little bit of a cliffhanger. So at the very end, a dog comes up and starts barking at Agatha and Brad. And Terry and Jerry are like, no, don't worry, dog. That's Agatha and Brad. They're good. But the dog keeps barking. And then Agatha and Brad are like, oh, crap, we've been caught. And then they eventually go, what a pity that dog had to show up, she said, shaking her head fretfully. Now, what do we do with these two kids, Brad? What do we do with these two kids? Quite interesting. And that's the second plot twist. I found this read to be very fun, very childlike, very whimsical, but also at the same time, them trying to go after the ghost, which winds up being this British dude who's searching for the Sadlers and the ghosts. He's the one that kind of spills the beans. He's like, "Oh, you guys are in here." That's supposed to be the fake out, which turns into he's this old British guy, and he's telling them, "Oh no, I'm not the ghost. Your friends are." And they don't believe it. Then they happen upon a grave site that has the kids Sam, Nat, and Louise's name written on it. And the creepy part, two quite creepy parts in this book that I found creepy. There's a certain point towards the end where they stumble upon the gravesite again and they see Terry and Jerry Sadler's name. So someone had dug a fresh grave for them. And they planned on killing them, you know? That's crazy to think about. And the second part, towards the end, they revert back into ghosts. So their skin starts to peel off, their hair starts to fall off, their flesh, and they become talking bones and talking skeletons, which I thought was quite creepy, quite scary, you know? At least for Goosebumps standards. I would totally recommend this book. A great read, super solid, very fast. I think it's only, 119 pages? Super quick. If I wasn't doing the voiceover, this is probably something you could read in maybe about 2 or 3 days if you're pacing yourself. A solid read. I think this is one of the earlier books where R.L. Stine was not necessarily giving to any ghostwriters or anything along those lines, and he's writing his own treatments and most likely most, if not all, of his own stories. I definitely recommend Ghost Beach. I thought it was a solid read, and I like the two twists at the end.